na yanko yani Adam 106.3 and you are no Masampa 94.7 in 104.5 Tisty. Angaza Cassia, one year Guzwa Yabe Adam Mount and Yako anyway. Winning so Mamu Yawamra at a 286. Woma yimu na de ye ne se wodi tagendra man ho kwan sese kobase bia ye pa wo bi se mampanyini anase Ghana de hye to oba se okokurumutia no reta edi yi no so afna mu so aiso bo so yare ye frena no padwane anwumre wo beba na se mampanyini nya befro ba nwa pe wo se na japade bia wo bia wotimi da na de ma Ghana de hye nyina da hunu bie e bia wo kuraba mienu wo ba se kre ba ko wo abobo ya ba ko e bia ne mpa wo da so no e wo fada mpem da de ni bi anase enua de ni bi eno ma wodo wo fu 1 acre banchifuo bodifuo ho ahwafuo ni nyina wo so wo tro ni nyina adigu ho na ebeya dansidie ansan wa hye nudwumadi ase sade ebeya wo kyena bi wo fa bronya honwe krakase nkobo oman no kro no ebie hu so obi amampanyini be paw no bia so wo mbra meboa no so wo ye osoafo so ai na na musini so okoda dwumako bia no o eja ya se de odi akyerehua de odi kana ntenti sade amampanyini ye no no atekre 286 de na wo so ai wadi general na fe wafre no na won krata asem no bibia na de akwa no na je de aso mfrupumu kama ne de ato ne mampanyini de ose ayoyo ama ekwawi ase de kan say access declaration wa declare na access no ma wodo wo nyina da na wowie ye na wo tiremu ese ade no yaso ode chanko akwadwane ntine wo hu benya se wo so wo no timi dikan na wo timi twa sapa to wo se de be ya o manfo a wo mudi na chi nyina da ebetumi afaso entiane wodi tagendra nankasa Johnson kwia moazi edu wono ene na pamfo no mkopie mu e wo mampanyini anso ye na mampanyini eden krata no beto ho esense bibia wie no asokokobo wone wane no ade mu obi bia da wofa na dwuma wodane te se de ketremada modwe se wa wonim na hwebe match bosome ne da etwato de na wo so watwa hunu se watimi de wajapade wo nyina da e wonsema ba beto ye sansa fa ade a wode kye na se wan fa meto monten dia ne ne nyobi ne kuma twibosi na no open we wo no ni triaje atrama wan we kuro be wadi wo be pam amu akwotena fie.
I've just performed a simple but brief, very important act of presented my completed assets declaration forms to the Auditor General as required by Article 286 of the 1992 Constitution and the Public Office Holders Declaration of Assets and Disqualifications Act 1998, Act 550. Ghana's assets declaration regime and its related activities have often been shrouded in secrecy, and only unless in special circumstances compliance is often difficult to measure. In times past, I would privately have presented these forms to the Auditor General in fulfillment of my statutory obligation. I've taken this step of presenting these forms publicly as a way of injecting some openness and transparency into the process of assets declaration. I've always maintained that while it is all well and good to punish corruption, a more effective way of addressing the canker is preventing it from occurring in the first place. I honestly believe that if properly curated and enforced, the assets declaration process can become a sustainable tool for tackling corruption. Corruption by nature is insidious and thrives under the cover of darkness. The more light that is shown on it, the more likely that it will be fought successfully.
Mamfanyin John Romani Mahama no na ate so de sam atudwa se esum ne hani twaka bia ni tri wutirimu fan ya kina mancho se de be ya Ghana de hye behu sampa wo ba be som ne mbem anya se bia wo ba be bo man no kro no ntwi ene workers wo bia fa na japade meto montem wo bia hunu bi na wo se ade ba ko ya ne se ye betwen ama nipa na bo man Ghana kro no ansa ne de mra katre no ya ntwenko ye ntwe mra kro do ni nyana ne nya betom ebe wi ase no o man Ghana ya boka se twom eni tin wo de saade we ya ba won twen ma won nye ansa I've
also taken this step to send an unmistakable signal to all public office holders, especially those that I have appointed, that I take the declaration of assets very seriously and expect full compliance from them. I've asked the Chief of Staff to send word to all appointees to ensure that they declare their assets by the end of the first quarter of this year, that is by 31st March 2025. I wish to stress that any appointee failing to meet this deadline would face severe sanctions, not excluding removal from office. Even as we strive to hold past government officials accountable for their stewardship, I deem it even more imperative to enforce anti-corruption among our present public office holders. Charity, they say, begins at home. I'm therefore determined to take the necessary steps to ensure that we fight corruption vigorously so that the precious little resources that have been entrusted to us by the Ghanaian people are used only in their interest. There have been issues raised about the effectiveness of the current assets declaration regime. We must take advantage of the current constitution review process to strengthen the assets declaration regime to make it more relevant to changing times.
Any equity ya Ghana mapanyini John Romani Mahama and artist what they some to Janotia say charity begins at home. Yebiza will be no ya house sister charity. I remember no fee if you don't know.